Hello friends, how you going? It's been a really long time that I shared a little bit about our property. System is absolutely pumping over there. I just want to take you through the system. It's about 2 years old now. Some good stuff's happening, some not so good things, but that's the nature of the beast. I've been very busy. That's why I haven't shared for a while. The reason is because I've been working on the cattle system. So yeah, I've been really busy creating a pasture system here. We planted a couple of tree rows down the bottom, just letting it go a little bit wild. It's not so well managed as our agroforestry system, and now I'm about to come and manage that grass and try to bring a bit more diversity. Things are looking really good, but today I really want to show you our agroforestry system. As we've had some progress. Things are moving along quite well, and I've just managed it. I just managed the productive rows, but that gives you an idea how tall things are. So basically here we've got our mulberry rows, so we've got a couple of mulberries there. We've got a really interesting climate here, where for the past month or so, when the rainy season started, we basically all we've got is this kind of weather or darker, so the plants really start to struggle at this time of the year. So the mulberries start to get out kind of a little bit diseased and things like that, but they're still here, they're still growing. They produced a little bit. I'm trying to strengthen the stems a bit, so those one I just kind of did a little bit of a tip prune, and things are looking well here. I do have to now start to come and manage that wall of plants just for a bit more airflow now that the moisture has come in a lot. Oh, here's our house that we just renovated to have trainees coming. We've got a new program here for 6 weeks, intensive traineeship. We've got already 2 people booked. There's 2 more coming, 2 more places to go. So yeah, brand new little house to have people here. That row is looking good. It's looking really good. We've got some lemons here, but I want to show you as well with the change of the weather. After I've managed, we can see the new growth coming here on the macadamia, but then 10 days ago or whatever, things just started to look really pear-shaped in the climate, and the leafcutter ants have come and do their things as they often do. Similar situation here as well with the citrus. We had a little bit of growth. This could also be because if you think that things were that dense and the citrus was inside of there, all of a sudden I've opened up because of a late management, and then that can also happen, have a little bit of a leaf burn and things like that. But new leaf coming in, so it's not all bad. That citrus here seems to have coped a little bit better, looking nicer, whereas that one is a bit fuller as well, but showing a bit of similar size, a few diseases and things, which is that's okay. We'll work with that. The wind's still blowing strong here, so this was a bit of a wind barrier that I planted maybe 12 months ago, so the Critillaria is doing the job, at least on that lower ground. I'm hoping the eucalyptus that you can see kind of here start to pop a bit more, and that line we're just not going to be managing whatsoever. On that line here, which I believe is the avocado, no, that's the lychee line. Had one lychee here which is not doing so well. Can't even find it. Oh, here we go. Really, and that's the thing with all the varieties and different things. That lychee was looking a little bit better, but for some reason, maybe a drier year we had this year, it's not coping very well. But we've got all the plants looking good. Got a little acerola cherry there, kind of coming along nicely. This Erva Mate has really pumped. Sorry, this Grumichama has really pumped in the last couple of days. A bit of new growth coming out of here. Since managing maybe 2 weeks ago, it really took on. And that's another lychee, just to see that it's not all lychees are the same. Look at the amount of new growth it put since managing as well. So looking really good. And that's part of the game. We start to look at which plants can handle. As I've told you before, I've got plants here from basically every single climate, and not all of them is going to do well. We can't expect just because it's diverse and dense that things will just pump. This Wumpy, for example, I had really great success in a similar climate in Australia. Over here, you know, it's growing, but it's not really producing. So, you know, a cool and wet climate for the summer it's a bit disturbing, and this is a big shock here. So that's a native plant. Escapes me the name now. And it wasn't looking great, but was full of leaves. And then since managing it, the leaf cutter ants absolutely demolished it. So, you know, it's not the ants' fault, it's the plant's fault. It's my fault perhaps for my late management, but you know, that's part of the game. The acerola seems to be happy here. Yeah, so, and the other lights here perhaps more or less in the middle, but looking nice and strong. Still small. You know, one thing we have to think about, a lot of the plants that we're getting from nurseries, and they have all different types of management on them, but most often than not, be it organic or not, those plants are being, you know, super fed, intravenously fed, and they don't really know how to feed for themselves. So as part of the challenge that we've got, once we start to create a system that we want the plants to be basically self-sufficient, we do need to allow for those plants a couple of years, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 years, for those plants to really get strong. You know, I could have the option of just bringing lots of fertilizers and things. I haven't. I've done a little bit of a conditioning on the beds, as you've seen in the past. But overall, I'm allowing the process to proceed. So I have lost a few plants, mainly through leaf cutter ants or plants that haven't really coped with a very high aluminium soil that we've got here. But overall, having healthy small plants that are living and thriving, it's good enough for me. I'm not really looking for production, although there is a few plants producing, and I hope to show you. So this line here is perhaps one of the most frustrating lines, and it's just, as is usually the case with avocados, they just seem to really struggle when we've got the grafted avocados. I've lost so many, and this is like a 3-year-old plant, and just beside here we've got an avocado seed. That doesn't happen for all the plants, for the avocado is the game. So I'm hoping to do, I wish I had done this year, but I couldn't find anybody that would supply me a scion. It would be to do an in situ grafting and go for that. I think that's kind of bringing the best of both worlds to grafting in situ. We've got a little pecan here, and that pecan was way too shady. It's great to see it when I open it up. Basically everything was like that. Everything was just kind of dry. And 2 weeks ago when I managed, that's the response. I'm glad to see it because it was a little bit worrisome. Yeah, this line, see the jabuticaba as well, not super happy. And I'm surprised because the climate for the jabuticaba here should be a good one for it. So yeah, I don't know. I know where that nursery came from, and they are pretty much chemical, you know, salt-based fertilizers. So it might take a little while for it to get moving. What else? Yeah, that bed here is not the best. So here is the black sapoti, the seed that I brought from Australia, doing well. And here finally is the erva mate that I said before, which it took a while to get going, but now it's looking really, really healthy with nice, beautiful green growth. So I'm really happy about that. What else have we got here? That's the other pecan as well, similar situation, was looking a bit better, but now change of weather patterns, and there we go. Leaf cutter ants giving a bite, giving a prune. I didn't think it needed a prune, but he got a prune. And that's one of our beautiful plants that we've got in this line, the little feijoa. We even have a little nest of some sort. Let's have a little look at that. That's a gift for you. Hello, little babies. I had not seen, that was not staged. I just love walking through the agroforest and just seeing all that life that is come with it. And that's part of the game, you know. It's really understanding those bigger pictures. When we are in sync with nature, we have to, you know, understand those bigger pictures. Create an agroforestry system. Yes, we want production. It's part of the game. It needs to produce. but we are also creating an ecosystem. We create an ecosystem with its own balance, with its own dynamics, with its own, with its own vibrancy, with its own character, with its own personality. And that's part of the game, and we have to understand that. We are now having a bit of a wild boar issue, even though I do have a fence for the European ones. We have native wild boars, and are just coming in. Yeah, unfortunately they are coming in, they are dodging the electric fence somehow, and they are just managing to come in and do a little bit of disturbance on the beds. As you can see here, I just kind of passed by and kind of reorganized, but they are coming and just doing whatever they want to do. It is a little bit frustrating, but it's part of the game. You know, we just go with the flow. This line is looking good. The citrus were looking a little bit shocking. I forgot to show you that one. That one was just leafless, so it's really good to see it coming back and holding leaf and no ants coming. So when we don't see ants coming and getting the plants, we know that the plants are getting higher. We could get a Brix refractometer kind of measurement as well, but you know, we've got some natural aspects to it. The Jussars are coming as well. They are really slow. They were happier under the shade, as you can see. That was a beautiful leaf. Now it's kind of a bit of on the yellowish. So it's hard to manage when we've got so much diversity. If we want to have a commercial agroforestry system, it's much easier because then all the management is towards this 1 or 2 crops. When we've got here 75 different types of plants, it just becomes a lot more difficult. But it's okay. We're creating those ecosystems. Look at that back supporting, really shiny, really loving it. I know the citrus there. These are the mandarins and orange line, all of different varieties here. So again, are they beautiful? To a certain extent, yes. Are they pumping like we would be expecting it after 2 months, 2 years? No, they're not. Some are, but that's part of the game. As I said, we are trying to create an ecosystem here where those plants are learning, literally learning to feed for themselves and make associations. We got to remember that some of those trees, or all of those citrus trees, comes from basically a greenhouse culture, and they're starting to produce, and they're starting to feed for themselves. So I'm expecting this system for the next year or two to still be developing, still working. I'm still learning as well the dynamics of the climate. This year we had a massive dry year, but with super strong winds, so that's why I've decided to do that kind of management this time. So I'm leaving the service rows a little bit more messy, a little bit more closed up, and then I'm opening up just the production rows to see how they go. But we can tell you that 10 days later, this is the leaf curl ant. If you haven't seen it, they are putting on a show for you there, really telling us, going, hey, what can we do? And I'm starting to explore other options on what can we do. One of the options that I'm a big fan of is biodynamics, because they try to work with elemental process. Really, they are not just about the spirituality, but really understanding about air, water, earth, fire, or warmth. And I think what I need to do here now is to bring perhaps one of those preps that they use, especially the 501, which is a silica base, and then 507, which is the valeriana, which brings a little bit of warmth. So this place now, even though we are in summer, we are not reaching past 25 degrees. And last week, for example, the whole week, we didn't even go past 15 degrees Celsius. So it's hard for those plants to go from basically a dry spring and a dry early summer, where we were hitting 31s, 32s, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, it gets dark, it gets cold, it gets wet. So those plants will suffer. So what I'm studying now is what can we do to help those plants to transition. And I think biodynamics really give us a lot of those options for us to play with. So that row here, being disseminated, is probably one of my worst rows. We had a beautiful persimmon here, and the ants just basically has taken it. So it's on the cards for this next spring to come and replace it. We've got a few success stories, especially with the kiwi. So they are looking really good. Got different types of dragon fruit. This is a Colombian version, which is supposed to like cold weather. It's not liking it here. It's been like that for 2 years, and now we've got some disease on the new growth. Part of the game. The grapes really struggle, really wet and dark, not really where they come from. But this is the beautiful success story here. The kiwis are developing well. I have to come and organize this. As you can tell, he wants a little bit more light. He wants to go all the way up in the bananas. So that's part of the game here. I have to organize it into those lines. It's the success story of that line. Basically, we had a couple of apples as well that didn't really like it. The grapes, look, I've lost one and they are here. So I'm counting that they will develop. The dragon fruit, apart from that one, is also developing well. We've got, again, the sapoti, the black sapoti, which I've put it a little bit everywhere. The kiwi just doing its beautiful dance here, which I need to organize. This is probably the only apple. I think we might have another apple there. And again, it was growing really well. It comes 10 days of terrible weather and the leaf cutter ants come here. It was funny because when I pruned the system, I was like, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna show them that the leaf cutter ants are not taking anybody. But then 20 days or 10 days or 15 days of just terrible weather and the leaf cutter ants are just pruning everybody, even the kiwi that is looking super good. So as soon as we start to have a bad weather, a bad meaning is not the weather the plants would like to have, then they stop doing photosynthesis properly. They stop producing proper sugars, they stop producing proper proteins, and that basically they just tell the plants, tell the ants, tell life that, hey, I'm in trouble, I need some pruning. And that's part of the game. We got to understand that those flows. So I'm still learning that side. It's been only 2 years and I'm kind of going, okay, what can I do beforehand? Now is a bit too late. I mean, I can do some foliars and I will be doing some foliars, biodynamic, maybe potassium silicate as well, definitely some biofertilizers, but it's not an easy game with that diversity. But here, we got a beautiful persimmon here that the ants have not really done too much damage into it. If there is one piece of advice that I could give you is really pay attention at your weather patterns. Really pay attention when this wet pattern comes, when the dry pattern comes, when the windy side comes. Because if we can, and you have to take a lot of notes as well, if we can be ahead of the game, then we're going to be much more successful in managing such a diversity. Because as you can tell, most plants are showing very similar signs of this wet, dark climate that just hit upon us. So if I could predict that, or if I knew it was coming, I knew it was coming. This year was much later and drier than we had beforehand. So I was like, oh, let's see what's going to happen. Let's see, I'm learning about this site. So for next year, I start to get a bit better and a bit better and a bit better. And hopefully, instead of getting such highs, such big highs and big lows, we try to keep our system a little bit more stable. It develops, and when it's not such a good growth time, it holds on. So we gotta learn some of those practices that we can do. Sometimes nature just can't do it by itself, especially on a challenging climate where I am, which is a mountain climate. So we've got a lot of wind and we've got those massive shifts in weather patterns where basically now it's almost winter for us. I mean, it's warmish, but in terms of light, in terms of summer warmth, it's not that. So living and learning. Oh, perhaps this is one of our best lines. We've got some really beautiful plants. We've got a pair there coming along, really looking good. We've got that banana there. They're not huge banana bunches, but it's good to have some bananas, especially in this climate. But yeah, this is a beautiful line. It's quite full. It has a really nice vibe. I hope you can pick. Again, we've got our Brazilian fern tree there. That's not the best specimen we've got, but it's here, and it's hiding what? A black sapoti. I've got good hope for the black sapotis. We've got finger limes here, and look at that. We've got our first little finger lime, which I'm actually going to harvest right now because I'm really curious to see how that's going to go. So again, plants struggling a little bit now, a little bit of leaf cutter ant damage there, but not too bad. Most of the leaf cutter ant damage is on the new leaves. So that tells me that, those plants that are now trying to grow, trying to regroup, are struggling a bit. So side by side, another finger lime, and look at the quality of difference. So this plant is struggling a lot more, even though they are literally not even 2 meters apart. Same management, same everything, same nursery. That's life, that's diversity. That's why we plant density, so we can choose it later. Got some peaches and nectarines here as well, which we're doing really well. Again, a little bit of a shift. Another pear looking great here, putting some good growth. So this start to indicate to me if I want to go commercial, which one of those species could I perhaps try and push for a commercial crop. Not sure, I'm still looking into it. Here the nectarine, the native borer kind of thing, came and cut it down, so it's now just kind of recovering from it. It was really tall and lanky, so I just kind of cut it a bit. I mean, that cut is not the best. I should really have cut a little bit lower. Probably in the heat of the moment, didn't really pay attention, but that's not really how we should prune. We should be much closer to that bud, but that's life. What else have we got here? Yeah, kind of peaches and nectarines. They are okay. They are putting some growth. They kind of go into the ebbs and flows. We actually had this peach down at the bottom here. We actually had a little bit of production, which was really good to see. Yeah, I don't know. I think all the fruit we've taken, but we still got some fruit flies. So again, fruit flies coming and eating those fruits is a sign that that plant is not super healthy yet, not super strong yet, because the fly shouldn't be able to really eat that substance if they fully formed. But hey, that's all right. We're getting there. And here one more pear, looking sexy. This is another nice row here that I like to see. We've got some nice development of some plants. Here it's the Brazilian cherry, the pitanga. Looking okay, stable, wasn't looking too good. I really need to look after these Mexican sunflowers here, not to overpower them. But I'm leaving them because of that wind. I mean, today is super light. I mean, we've had some cyclone type winds basically all spring. And I mean, the bananas now have recovered, but they've been just shredded. As you can see some of the leaves there. They've been completely shredded. So another reason why I'm leaving the bananas a little bit more covered here to try and protect from that. Figs are looking really good, really promising. There is different varieties here. I mean, that one is a great specimen, and I hope to start, doing a little bit of pruning next year. There's the roller cherry here again, establishing. We prefer a drier climate. I'm pretty sure of that. Perhaps a little bit more light, but let's see how it's going. We've got quite a few pineapples coming. Some are looking really good, like this one. Although they are 2 years old and they're supposed to have produced, not always. We gotta remember that an agroforestry system doesn't always speed up production. That's not the game. The game is to create an organism that can produce without external inputs. That's why we are really trying to create here. Here we've got some little cherry guavas as well, looking great. It's a native to this area, so that's kind of the way I want to go to more. But look, still not perfect, still struggling a little bit, still finding its foot. I know the fig here was looking a lot better as well. I'm not sure if I opened too much. The leaves a little bit of disease there, perhaps a little bit of a fig there coming through. Let's see if they're going to form. Probably not. But that's it. Oh, this plant, this pomegranate was one of the best plants we've had. It looked like that, but it got hammered and hammered and hammered by leafcutter ants. At least at this time, it's allowing it to be. Let's see how it's going to go. This time of the year for us it's a sad time, but it's part of the sharing. I gotta share that with you. It's too easy to just share the good times. We gotta share the hard times as well, so people are prepared to go through the system. Look at this cassava, just got completely obliterated by the leafcutter ants. Sorry, it's not a cassava. It's some other plant that I don't know what it is. some plants that came over. But here another Brazilian cherry, looking really good. Good signs. So let's have some more of those. Another fig, nice and stable there. So, but it's interesting to see all of the leucaenas, a strong plant, a strong service plant, all as well getting taken by the leafcutter ant. So it's really not about the productive plant, it's really about the climate, it's really about how quick things go from really hot and dry to really basically cold and wet and dark. So see how that go, and that beautiful cherry guava looking really stunning, doesn't it? Look at that growth, look at those colors. We really like to see the range of colors and shapes. It's got such a beautiful leaf, doesn't it? Finally, our last row, as you can see, it's super dense. All of those trees around there, just really shading it, but that's okay. We're still moving along. Little mango there, getting formed, getting established, looking good, looking healthy. Yeah, the coffees are just pumping. They are just really loving life. New growth. We're having a little bit of a flowering, I thought, in some of them. Oh, look at that little bit, just a little bit, just the beginning. Again, 2-year-old, some people will be expecting a lot more fruit and a lot more growth, but those guys are getting no external inputs. Absolutely nothing, apart from a little bit of irrigation that I've installed. You might have sneak peek there. That was just for us for winter when things get really dry. I can put a little bit of water just to try and get things moving. This guava has really pumped, really pumped. Probably the tallest plant we have as a productive plant. Not sure. It kind of seems to be looking for a bit more light. So it'd be really good to remove some of those canopies over there. We also got this guava that was here, was kind of planted by the birds, which kind of got a similar shape, I believe. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep that one in the middle. Again, we had a little bit of a harvest on that guava, but full of fruit flies, so not really edible. But hey, we've got another little nest there. I think that one has done its job already. So it's fulfilling some ecological roles as well, which is always important. Yeah, but that guava is really looking good. I mean, struggling a little bit now with the change on weather, but put some good growth. And let's see if we can get some production. But the coffees are just stunning. They are glossy, they are shiny, they are really powerful. So I'm happy to see that. Let's see what else we've gonna got. Look at this mango here. Again, looking great, but ta-da! Leaf currents coming and going. Slow down. You know, things have changed. Let's pay attention. Let's see what we can do. Oops, forgot to get that pruning of the eucalyptus, and that's something that I've been learning more and more to use as well. It's a way for us to just kind of monitor a little bit the water on the soil. So basically I have this tensiometer here, which is measuring 20 centimeters down, and then I've got another one there which is measuring 40 centimeters down. So we can tell that soil moisture is pretty good. I'm surprised it's not dead on the zero there, because we just this last week we probably got about, I don't know, 100 mil a few times. So things are pumping. But look at the jackfruit as well, really good growth. So I'm actually surprised that a lot of those more tropical plants are actually looking quite good. And some of the more temperate plants that I was hoping would be really do well, they're struggling a bit. But to me is this cold and wet, especially really wet summer, that just knocks things about. But we keep learning and keep seeing what's happening here. But on a line that is doing well, had a massive avocado here that I kind of just stopped because I want to graft onto it, and it's just powering it along. But a little bit of leaf cutter ain't damage as well. It's all here, and look at those Lucina. Absolutely just the skeleton of that. So might be a way of just basically giving a little boost into the system. Over there I'm trying a little bit of passion fruits on the back. The wind that we've had basically demolished all of them. This is all regrowth. We lost a few plants as well, but yeah, so I gotta really be careful with that wind. You can see the bananas there completely demolished of the leaves. So if you got no leaves in the banana, the bunch will be small. There is no questions about that. There's nothing else we can do. We need about 12, 14, maybe 16 leaves for a bigger bunch. But the coffees are happy, and I'm looking forward to getting some of those grains and seeing how things go. And over there, I'm not gonna go into it today, but basically our veggie garden is really pumping. Things are really working really nicely, and I'm just about actually to launch a Syntropic vegetable gardening course that will teach you how to grow crops with minimal external inputs. Here, of course, we need a lot more fertilizers, we need a lot more irrigation to get things going, lots of cover cropping, as you can see as well here. So thinking about the rotational system, thinking about how things can go together. Another leaf current example there, These were absolutely pumping up to 10 days ago, the blueberries and the strawberries, and now they're just being completely, not completely, but on that end here, where they're coming from, they're starting to disseminate the plants. And we put those kale leaves as an attractant because they really like the kale leaves, but really, you know, the problem here is the plants. They are not as healthy as we think they are. I mean, they look awesome, don't they? But clearly they're not, and they are sending the signals to the plants, to the ants, and to the insects to go, hey, I need a prune, I need something, because this is not really working. But anyway, we've got some amazing production of eggplants. We've been donating eggplants to the whole town. Things are looking really nicely here. Kind of got into a nice system of cover crops and mulch and biofertilizers, and a whole kind of closed system almost that we can really produce. I mean, those veggies, basically the work is just to come and harvest. It's just a transition. So we've got a cycle here that we do a system every 3 weeks, and yeah, so we're basically trying to produce as much food as we can for ourselves and become self-sufficient. So things are looking really good despite they're really wet, and I'm surprised that things are still here. We've basically been swimming, but yeah, look at the vibrancy of those brassicas, those cabbages, those broccolis. Things are looking really good. We tried this year some artichokes as well. One there kind of just producing, those one just finished produce. Here we've got some air potato growing over there as well. We are looking forward to this. This bed here is now just basically time to redo it. We've got the pepinos there. We've got some artichokes as well coming, and the Madagascar bean to really make it complete. So this is a perennial bed. So this is a whole perennial bed with artichokes, pepino candau as it's called, or sometimes pepino from the Andes, Madagascar beans, and the air potatoes or the yams. So yeah, that's it for me today. I'm really glad to be sharing it again. Had a bit of a sabbatical year, really working hard on the property, but now it's time to share again. I've got the energy for it. Hopefully I'm gonna have the time. But really, if you want to learn some of that stuff, if you want to learn to produce food with very minimal inputs, then check it out. My new course, Syntropic Vegetable Gardening, coming out very soon. I hope you're well. All the best. Take care.